What happened to Bitcoin reaching 100k? So all I see here is a minor retracement with the next leg being 100k. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. I got you guys. I'll be honest, anything's possible. In the last 3 months, we've seen major increases in price. For the past 6 months, you've seen a massive run on buy stops taking 6,900, 69,000. I mean, if you also look at the 6 month time frame, it's only now that we're starting to see some form of retracement. This is considered as an order block, and if you were to retrace to the downside, or at least spike to the downside before continuing to the upside, I'm looking out for 48,189. Guys, I'm looking out for 48,189 on a monthly time frame. All right, let's delete this for a split second. All right. A couple of weeks back, I was looking out for all-time highs to be tagged, and we did get that. For the past 4 weeks, we've been range bound. I keep saying 4 weeks, 4 bloody months. 4 months we've been range bound. We've been trading within this tight range here. If you were to account for candle body closures and opens, not the wicks, the highs and the lows. I mean, if you're going to use the wicks, then obviously sell side was taken right there. So you'd expect buy side to be taken, right? Well, we swept the prior week buy stops, prior month buy stops, but then we continued to the downside. So if we're going to continue to the downside on a monthly time frame, then my area of interest would be the consequent encroachment of last month's wick, which would be roughly between 58 to 59k. But I feel like we need to zoom in for a minute. And oh, don't get me wrong, obviously we've got the fair value gap right there. But my first point of interest would be the consequent 50% range from the open to the lows. That'll be the first point of interest, second point of interest, and then the highest displacement, consequent encroachment, and then the third, and then the fourth. I've got many points of interest to look out for to continue to the downside. To the upside, we've got relatively equal highs, which I do believe will be targeted in the future. So what we could get going into the medium to long term future is something like this. We got this, and then whatever might happen, it's gonna happen, right? So feels going to the weekly time frame. Finally, we're gonna get into the weekly. My God, we've got the highs ever since the highs was created on the week of March, the 11th of March. We've failed to get up to that region up there. You've got a dealing range high, dealing range low. And when, if you was to negate all of these candles right here from this candle onwards, buy stop, buy stop, buy stop. And guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 4 weeks worth of trading took one, two, and not even three, took two forms of buy side liquidity pools, but failed to go any higher than that. Right. Order block it traced back into, and I mean, not to say the least, it is very choppy, isn't it? But if we're looking to take the lows out, we have to go swift and quickly. We do have a fair value gap right there, so what we could see in the future, because remember these are weekly candles, prior week opened, didn't really trade into the consequent encroachment, but we closed below the lows of the prior weeks, open and low. This current weekly candle created a high, but failed to close this gap there. So we could see something along the lines of a wick targeting this area here, or even a candle body closure in the daily time frame, and then obviously running into this area right there. If it was going to the daily time frame where things are a bit more clearer, right, be able to see what has happened. We've gently been trading to the downside. Alright. Now if we was to take liquidity to the upside, first and foremost, we need to trade above this high right here, which is at 66,48294. This is the Binance chart, so your chart, if it's different to Binance, might be different numbers, but this week here on the Thursday, the 20th of June, It's the highs that I'll be looking to take out in order for me to negate the continuation of a decline in market structure of price action. You've been bearish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, 5 days. This Saturday is the day that we've been bullish. You've respected the bullish daily order blocks. So if we were to see some form of retracement, then going up towards here wouldn't be too bad. I'd like to see it respect these areas, these highs there. But knowing how Bitcoin is, knowing how volatile it can be, what could happen is we could actually trap those people who you think is going to go short, and obviously continue to the downside from here. See something along the lines play out. I'm actually going to keep this on the daily time frame. It's a point of interest. Going into the hourly time frames, I did have a target for 63,866. I did post it on my minds, and it was achieved right there on the Friday. I'll leave it for the next time. And previous daily lows, run on, stops taken, bullish engulfing. Would you classify this as an institutional order flow entry? I personally wouldn't. Fair value gap there, respected. And going into the future, if we were to see manipulation, I want to see this area held. This fair value gap on the hourly time frame supported. You can maybe a spike and then a run, taking these highs out. Remember, the overall movement is to the downside, but if we're going to be utilizing the power of 3, then we're going to be looking for a run, taking sell stops out, and then starting the manipulation to the upside. Create the high for the week and then drop. Bias for Bitcoin, I would say on a weekly time frame, I'm neutral until I see further information, because even if you see a run into buy stops, it's not really a lot of information for me to actually give a one-sided opinion. This is what I'd like to see, but I'll be going neutral in the future, going into the future until I see more price action. You've got the highs, you've got the lows, it's very choppy. You got an area of liquidity right there, and I'd like to see it run on before I see anything else.